Have you ever wondered why some extremely, extremely talented musicians just stall in their career? I do. I think about that a lot, especially with a lot of my friends who are so talented. And I've really studied this for a long time. I've tried to analyze what did they do wrong versus what did someone else do right. And over the years, I think I figured it out. So I want to talk about that today. Why is it that some musicians just stall or their careers just, peter out and nothing happens and meanwhile someone else maybe who's not even as good, maybe their music isn't even as good, or for whatever reason their careers just skyrocket and they take off and they're doing well. I've seen this so many times throughout my career, between living in the music cities that I've lived in and all the musician friends that I've made over the years. Some who are so talented just never do anything, and then others who are like mediocre in their talent just do so well. And I like to think that I'm actually more or less in the second grouping. I don't think I'm the best musician by any means, but I've been able to carve out a pretty good career over the last number of years, 15 years or so. And it's always really made me wonder, what is it about some of these artists that they're just never able to get to that next level. And as I've really studied this over the years, I've figured it out. At least I think I have. And I want to share with you what I think it is. And it's really simple. It's the pursuit of perfection, right? Maybe you're a perfectionist yourself. So many musicians and creative individuals are perfectionists. They're not going to release their song until they get it right. They're not going to put out their music until it's 100% right. And what happens? Well, their music never gets out. It's just they're always working on it, getting better and better and better and better. And I understand that to a point. I believe that as creatives and musicians, we have to pursue excellence. Pursuing excellence it really should be the goal for everyone, right? You want to pursue excellence. But the reality is that perfection does not exist. Perfection is our own standard that we're holding ourselves to that doesn't exist. Other people don't have that same standard. So, for example, I might look at something that I maybe a song I wrote or a particular recording, and I might say, well, it's just not good yet. There's still some weird ring in the tom that's just driving me insane, and this and that. Someone else could come into my studio and listen to that mix and think it's perfect and go, what the hell's going on? Why don't you just put this out? Man, there's still this weird little ring in that tom that's just bothering me. And then what are you gonna do? Spend the next month working your butt off trying to figure this thing out, and meanwhile you're missing out on opportunities. And let me give you an analogy that has nothing to do with music, because I think these are the best ways to really realize how this pursuit of perfection is actually very harmful to us as musicians. Now, imagine that you have your family or friends coming in for the weekend, and you want to make a really nice chocolate cake for them. And let's say that your neighbor down the street makes an amazing chocolate cake. Oh, it's so good. So what do? On Monday, you reach out to your neighbor and you say, hey, could I get the recipe for that chocolate cake? And they go, yeah, I get it for you. Great, because I got my family coming in on Saturday, and I'm gonna make that cake on Friday night. Yeah, I'll have it for you. Well, Friday comes, still no recipe. So you reach out to your neighbor and say, hey, can I get that recipe? And they say, oh yeah, I'm just sitting down to do this for you right now. I'll have it for you, in no time. Great, this is exciting. An hour or two goes by, you start getting your car warmed up, so you're going to go down to this grocery store and pick up all the ingredients, and you still haven't gotten that recipe. So you reach out to your neighbor and say, hey, I'm going to swing by and pick up that recipe. And they go, you know what? So I was writing it out, and I was almost at the end, and then I misspelled a word, and so I scratched it out, and then there's a big black blob of ink on that card. I can't give you that. It looks terrible. And so this weekend I'm going to go to Walmart and I'm going to get these really nice recipe cards. And I've been taking a calligraphy class at the local community college, and so I'm going to get some calligraphy pens, and I'm going to make this beautiful recipe card for you. I'm going to have it for you by Sunday night. So how did that serve you? It actually didn't serve you at all. In fact, it was a major disservice to you, because you planned on having this, recipe on Friday afternoon, and you set your Friday night aside to go, make this amazing chocolate cake that you're going to surprise all your friends and family with over the weekend, and it didn't happen because your neighbor was pursuing perfection. And really, the pursuit of perfection is actually a selfish pursuit, right? I mean, what do you care? What do you care that there's a blob of ink on it? It wouldn't have mattered to you. You're after the goal of making the cake. In fact, you wouldn't have minded if they just sent you a text message with all the recipe ingredients and directions, right? So the reality is that the pursuit of perfection is really a selfish pursuit. Now, the pursuit of excellence is something that we should all be going after. But we have to realize that perfection just doesn't exist. It doesn't exist because it's a standard that we set. It's really an invisible bar that we've set for ourselves that no one else has. It's there. Everyone's level of perfect is different. And you see this in songs and in albums, especially when you read articles with various artists. Over the years, I've read, many articles of some of my favorite artists discussing some of my favorite records. And then they discuss how, that song, we just wish we never put that song on the record. It should have never been on the record. Our A&R guy wanted it on the record. We all hated it, whatever, blah, 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 blah. And you think, that's the reason I bought the record. That's the reason I went and saw you live. That's the reason I got into you was that song. So they look at their record and they go, it's not a perfect record because, that song we didn't like. But yet you look at it and you go, that's my favorite song on the record. That's what made me buy the record. That's what made me go spend all my money to go see you in concert. See, it's an invisible level, It didn't reach their level of perfection, but we look at it and we go, that's a perfect album. It's amazing. I still listen to it all the time. And you've probably experienced that yourself when you're listening to records and you read an article with someone where they talk about maybe a lyric or a song that they hate and this and that. And you go, that was my favorite part of the record. So we have to pursue excellence. We can't pursue perfection because it doesn't exist. It's a selfish pursuit. And ultimately what it does is it holds us back. It holds us back from putting our content out there, releasing our songs. I see this in the licensing world with people who are, they want to make sure everything is perfect and this and that. Well, by the time everything is perfect, the show that your music would be perfect for it's off the air. It's out of production. They did 3 seasons of it and it's done. And, you should have released your music to the supervisor in season 2, but no, you had to make it perfect. So now you lost out on 2 seasons worth of opportunities. You see where I'm going with this? So that is what I've noticed over the years in everything, not only just in music, but with a lot of my friends over the years who've just never been able to get ahead. And as I really analyze what it is about them, is that they're so worried about everything being perfect that they never take action. Take action. I have a lot of music out there that is not perfect. It's done well for me. I put these videos together, and I'm sure in a lot of these videos my hair looks bad and all that other stuff. But it's the content. The content is more valuable than the perfect background or the sun going down as I'm filming it. And maybe I'm getting a big, white blotch on my face and whatever. It's not perfect, and that's okay because the content is valuable. Same thing with music, right? So pursue excellence. Stop pursuing perfection. Put your music out there. Let it serve your community. Let it serve your end users. Let it speak to people who need to hear your music. But stop letting the pursuit of perfection hold you back from making progress in your career. All right? I hope that speaks to you in some way, and I'll see you soon.